Behind the chicken coop here is where we dump the manure, and just look at the size of these weeds. These are just huge compared to any other weeds. If you look out in the field, the weeds are twice as small. These are twice as big. These are like giant redwoods compared to the weeds out there. It's all because of that manure, and actually we need to get to some of it so we can put it in the garden. This is definitely going to be a challenge. Now that I've got the machete, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these weeds. There's not much room without hitting the chicken coop here. It would have been a good idea to get in here before the weeds grew up so big. It's definitely a challenge to even get in here. It's kind of like a jungle. Stuff is really hard to, it's just thick and dense. It's hard to cut down. It's almost like I'm trying to cut down a tree. I'm starting to make my way in finally, but this is kind of interesting. See, there's these black berries. And these definitely aren't like blueberries. I don't know what they are. I'm not gonna try to eat them because they're probably poisonous, but it's just kind of cool. These weeds are just so dense. It's so hard to cut through them. This plant, it's all 1 year growth. Maybe not even a full year. It just started in the spring. I mean, this plant is just huge. This is crazy. It's basically a tree. Now I'm actually standing on the manure pile. This is where the weeds were the thickest. That's where, like, look at the size of some of these stumps. This thing was this big. I mean, a little small, about that thick. These are some big plants that were growing in this manure pile. I mean, here's a big stump too. This is just proof to how good this manure is. Actually inside my shoe. The tread is kind of worn away enough where the plants can get inside. Now I'm ready to go ahead and fill this 5-gallon bucket up with some dirt. Some really, really good manure. Cleaned out the coop about beginning of spring, and now it's about the end of summer, and all that growth was within that time. It's probably going to be kind of tricky with all these roots in here to get any kind of dirt. Maybe not, actually. That went in pretty easy. No, that's easy to dig in. Seems like everything's always a little bit more work than you think, but that's just, seems like that's always how it is. So to the garden it goes, and I know the beans really need this dirt. So my grandpa asked for 1 bucket and gave him 2. So much work to get in there, we might as well fill up 2 buckets while we're at it. Beans look like they're doing pretty well right now, but I bet they're gonna do even better with this manure. Hopefully they'll grow right up like those big weeds that were growing in this manure before. Our greenhouse collapsed this winter in a pretty bad ice storm, and you can see it's a little bit more of a structure again, but this is gonna be one of our next projects, just working on rebuilding this, because really all these pipes were bent vertically, or not vertically, they were bent down all the way to the ground. So we removed all the peaks, and then we were able to rebend those pipes, and you can see we're growing stuff in here again. It just doesn't have the plastic stretched over it, but this is going to be a project we're going to be working on now.